Hi everybody, welcome to Singing with Lauren. Today I am answering the question how to sing high in 3 simple steps. So click subscribe, it's right there. Please click subscribe and let's go. Hey everybody, this video is brought to you by my free 3-day training, How to Sing High. So you're going to be able to find the link for that right below. I made it just for you. So go sign up. It's totally free. You're going to love it and you're going to end singing high way better than you are right now. I'll see you there. Enjoy the video. Before we can talk about how to sing high, I am a true believer that we need to understand what's actually happening in our bodies when we go into our head voice. Now, both men and women both have head voices. Oftentimes, a men's head voice is referred to as a falsetto. However, basically the same thing is happening because men and women are not that different. Like, we still make sound the same way. Well, we're pretty different, but we'll leave that for a different video. When we switch into our head voice, we're actually transitioning registers, and that means that a different muscle set is taking over our vocal folds. Seriously. Another thing that's happening is our larynx is actually tilting forward a little bit, and this is what actually switches us into head voice. So if you feel like something weird's happening, you can't control it, you feel like you're in a totally different voice, it's kind of because it is a different voice. However, one of the steps to becoming a great singer is equalizing your chest voice and your head voice so that it sounds like one voice, even though there are usually a couple different registers going on there. But this is the hardest register to negotiate. So why does everybody have such a hard time singing in their head voice? Well, I think it's because when we think of our head voice, we're thinking, oh God, the high note's coming, it's coming, oh, I gotta get it out, right? I mean, come on, who doesn't think that sometimes, like when they're just starting to learn to sing? I remember thinking that all the time when I was learning how to sing, way back in the day. So when we have that mindset shift of, this is really high, I don't think I can sing the note, what's gonna happen? Your whole throat tenses up, your larynx actually rises. Your larynx is your basically vocal box that contains your vocal folds. That rises, so it actually shortens the vocal tract. And this is where we get our sound from. And a lot of times, if we're nervous or making kind of like, our whole body is kind of going like this, right? And what happens to our sound when we go like this? It closes down. It shuts down because we're shutting down our resonating space. Okay, so number 1 on my list is mindset. This sounds too easy to be true, but I actually think it's the hardest one to manage. So let me set this straight for you guys. Nothing is happening in your throat while you're singing except for in this little area where the muscles are bringing the vocal folds together, air is coming through, and they're vibrating. Okay, the muscles here are not doing anything, our shoulders are not doing anything, and if we close down our throat, that's the only way we can stop the air is by closing down our throat. What does that mean? It means that this is not the brains behind the operation. Okay, this is. It's just like being a professional basketball player. Do you think that their hands are in control of where the ball goes when they shoot it? Their brain is telling their hands what to do. This is the same thing in our singing. The reason it's so hard is because we can't see it. It's all happening in our throats. So, mindset, I have high notes. So many students walk into my room and tell me that they don't have high notes. And I'm just like, unless you've been smoking a pack a day for like 20 years, you have high notes, okay? We just have to learn how to access them. Also, I like my voice. I like my voice. It's okay to say. It's okay to like your voice. And it's okay to like your high voice, even if it's not exactly where you want it to be right now. Okay? So repeat this after me. I have high notes, and I like my voice. I think everybody's really obsessed with the idea of extending their range, but I want you guys to start thinking about it as accessing your range. Okay? We all have pretty similar ranges. It's just that when you train yourself to be a singer, you're able to access those high notes and those low notes a lot easier than, say, someone who's never taken a voice lesson before. So this is important. If you are expanding your range, it means that you don't have the notes and you don't know if you're ever going to have them. If you're accessing your range, you know deep down inside that your body is capable of singing that note. You just have to line everything else up to be able to get there. So, that is mindset. You got it? You guys taking notes? This is really, really important. Okay? So, number 2. Air. Air, 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 air. I can't stress this enough. So, in order to hit those high notes, your breath energy actually needs to be higher than your breath energy was when you were in your more comfortable speaking range. So right now I'm in my speaking range. This is where I usually talk. I actually am a mezzo-soprano, so I actually have a lower range, and that's where I feel most comfortable hanging out. When I'm speaking, I do speak a little bit higher. Must be because I'm from Wisconsin. Who can say? Anyway, when we go up into our head voice, we need a little bit more air pressure coming through to get those folds to vibrate. Because since the folds are longer, there's a little bit, they're thinner. There's not as much space for them to make the vibration. Therefore, we need more breath. So guys, I did my whole first series on breathing. So I really want you to go back, watch those, download my free guide for breathing to sing. That is going to change the game of your singing by breathing. So I'm not going to harp on that too much. I don't want to go into what a good breath is or what that feels like. However, I do want to tie that into what a good breath feels like when you're going into your high voice. So a lot of times when we're getting into our high voice, and singers start tensing up, they start cramping up, they're not taking those nice low breaths, and the air is actually getting stuck in their throat. That's why when you start singing, it starts to sound like you're sounding good in your chest voice. You're sounding good in your chest voice, you're like rocking it, you're killing it, and then all of a sudden, you have to reach up to a high note, and you panic. The first thing to go when you panic is your breath. Okay, so step 1, try not to panic. Step 2, keep breathing. I want the same amount of breath all the way up. That's easier said than done, right? So my next video is about how to get that air working when you're in your higher voice and how to give that voice power. So to wrap that section up, you need a lot of breath energy. You need to keep that breath moving. You need to make sure you're still supporting your sound down here. And the breath keeps going up into your high voice. I think the second thing that's really important to notice about breath is that a lot of times our reaction to fear of how the high note is going to sound is actually to use less breath than if we were in our more comfortable voice. So when you get up there, you want to keep thinking more breath, more breath, more breath, all the way through to your top note, and then carry it back down. Because a lot of times when we get up to that high note, we stay on it and we sit on it, we go flat, and then we have nowhere to escape out because we've been sitting on that note for so long, we're already off pitch, and then we're like, oh my gosh, like, where do I go from here? Okay? It's happened to all of us. It's happened to all of us. So when you get up there, keep the breath spinning, and then let it traverse down to wherever the phrase ends. If the phrase ends with the high note, sing through to the end of the high note and end your sound with a breath in. That's super important. Because otherwise, what happens? You go, ah! Did you hear the like, no. Oh. That's from closing your vocal folds and not ending the sound with a breath in on the high note. Okay. This is a lot. 3, space. This one's really important too. So if you have the correct mindset of, I can sing these notes, I have these high notes, you're keeping your breath moving all the way through the high notes, but you have your voice, but you have your throat and your mouth closed, the high note's not going to come out. It's not going to come out. Because when you close down the space that you need, you close down the resonating chamber. What do I mean by that? Okay, so the sound is being produced down here, right? It comes up, and then in our nasopharynx and in our mouths, that's where the sound is really creating itself. That's where it gets its body from, that's where it gets its overtones from, that's where it resonates, and then it comes out of our mouths, and that's what it sounds like. But if we sing like this, I can hit that note with my mouth closed. Okay? But what note was that? What? I opened my mouth. And I raised my soft palate. This is so important. What is your soft palate? Okay? Put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. It's hard, right? The roof of your mouth. Now, slide your tongue back a little bit. Do you feel where it gets soft? Where there's not that hard bone anymore? That's your soft palate. Okay, what is your soft palate? So your soft palate is the soft part of the roof of your mouth. So feel the roof of your mouth with your tongue. You feel where that break is? It's like there's a bone and then there's not a bone. That's your soft palate. So that needs to be super engaged while you're singing, but it needs to be even more engaged when you're in your head voice because it creates extra space for us. It creates a lift. So there's a couple ways to feel your soft palate raise if you've never felt it before. The first way I would suggest is feeling the feeling right before you're about to yawn. We're probably all gonna yawn now, by the way. Ready? Okay, if you didn't feel it on that, don't worry, I got you. Here's another way you can feel it. Feel like you're smiling, your cheekbones are high, and then take a good breath. Did you feel it? Okay, if you still didn't feel it, I have one more trick for you. A teacher showed me this last week, and I felt it right away. So, stick out your tongue. Now stick it behind your teeth. Okay, now stay there. Take a big breath in and feel the cold air hit the soft palate and raise it. If you didn't feel it on that one, I have one more trick for you that someone just showed me this week and it really works. So stick your tongue out. Now stick your tongue behind your bottom front teeth. Stick it out again so you're like. Now I want you to breathe in and feel the cold air hit the roof of your mouth. So, okay, that one I really feel it. I didn't have to make any weird faces. So I kind of like that one. It's pretty cool. So that is the space that all these videos and all these voice teachers are talking about when they say you need more space. A lot of times I think that gets translated to space downward, but the way that we make space downward is by pushing our tongues back, and we also really don't want that. We want our tongues to be relaxed and forward, and we want the soft palate to be raised. Guys, I know that was a lot of information, but I think it's really important to talk about what's actually going on in our voice before we try to delve into it, because our mind is in control of everything that's going on. So if we have time to think about this and know exactly how our body works when we're doing this, we're setting ourselves up way better for success when we bring it into our vocal exercises. So this is the start of my series about learning how to sing high, and I hope you liked it. If you have any specific questions about singing higher in your voice, I'd love to hear them. Please comment below. Please subscribe. Guys, it's just another part of your voice. It's not magic. Everybody can figure this out. And I'm gonna be right there with you. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you look forward to next week's episode, which is 3 singing hacks to stop your voice from cracking. Also gonna be talking about singing in the head voice there. So please join me. Thanks guys, have a great day.